Good morning. The title for today is Mr. Obama, It's Time to Walk Your Talk. Yes, I listened to his speech, and he did say a lot of good things. However, I have heard him and others like him say good things. As they say, talk is cheap. Politicians and many others in our culture have been well trained in the principles of the Hegelian dialectic, propounded by George Hegel. William Shirer quoted Hegel in his book, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Here's the quote. The state has the supreme right against the individual, whose duty is to be a member of the state. Obama, like other great orators, says things the people want to hear. And he did so yesterday. He talked about his oath and the United States Republic, but he continues to act contrary to that oath on behalf of the corporatized criminals that engage in practices that go against the principles of freedom. In other words, his words are not reflected in his actions, for which I say, Mr. Obama, it's time to walk your talk. And I forgot a word in one place and put an extra word in another place, so I got to remove them. Where was the extra word? I know I put the same word in back to back. Anyway, I'll find it later. Today I actually did a little bit of research. I knew before I got out of bed that this was what I was going to talk about, unlike yesterday when I wasn't even aware when I came from the meditation room to the computer. I had no clue what I was going to talk about. Today I knew, because before I went to bed last night, I did listen to Obama's speech. But I looked up this morning Hegelian dialectic. And I'm going to read just a few sentences from that article written by two people. You can Google it. It's on crossroad.to articles. Anyway, I'm not going to put that link in. Well, maybe I will. Here's what I'm reading from that. In 1847, the London Communist League, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, used Hegel's theory of the dialectic to back up their economic theory of communism. Now, in the 21st century, Hegelian Marxist thinking affects our entire social and political structure. The Hegelian dialect is the framework for guiding our thoughts and actions into conflicts that lead us to a predetermined solution. If we do not understand how the Hegelian dialectic shapes our perceptions of the world, then we do not know how we are helping to implement the vision. When we remain locked into dialectical thinking, we cannot see outside of the box. Hegel's dialectic is the tool which manipulates us into a frenzied circular pattern of thought and action. Every time we fight for or defend an ideology, we are playing a necessary role in Marx and Engels' grand design to advance humanity into a dictatorship of the proletariat. The synthetic Hegelian solution to all these conflicts can't be introduced unless we all take a side that will advance the agenda. The Marxist global agenda is moving along at breakneck speed. The only way to completely stop the privacy invasions, expanding domestic police powers, land grabs, insane wars against inanimate objects and transient verbs, covert actions, and outright assaults on individual liberty is to step outside the dialectic. This releases us from the limitations of controlled and guided thought. Yes. We have to understand, folks, that just because a politician stands on a stage before 1 million people in the courtyard in Washington, D.C., standing on the steps of the Congress building, looking out over the mass of land going over to the Washington Monument, where there's tens of thousands of people, if not 1 million people. I mean, there could have been 1 million people there. I don't know. But we hear the politicians say these nice things, and we think, man, listen to him. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But then he signs bills that go totally against the Constitution. He's pushing to remove guns from the people in violation of the Second Amendment of the Constitution that he swore to uphold and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This is the game that they play, folks. I want you to understand that this is the game, and we do need, as I just read, we do need to step outside of the box of that thinking. We need to come together in union and say it's time to stop the privacy invasions. It's time to stop expanding police powers. It's time to stop the land grabs and the insane wars against objects, the covert actions and the assaults on individual liberty. It's time to stop these things. It's not enough to say the right words or to use the proper phrases, because they lie. If their lips are moving, they're lying. It's not enough to hear the words. We must see the actions. And Obama at every turn has signed into law from the corporation's perspective rules that guarantee the continuation of the insanity. Can you not see this? It's not a matter of taking sides. It's a matter of recognizing what's going on. It's a matter of recognizing the game the politicians have been playing for a long time. It's not just Obama. It's the culture of politics. It's the culture of our financial system. It's the culture of our corporations. It's the culture of our courts and our schools and everything in our culture. It's the game plan of religions. They do the same thing. They say the right things, but they don't walk the talk. If we don't walk our talk, we're shooting words out of our mouth that don't have any meaning. They're not backed by integrity. They're not truth. They sound true, but they're not truth, because the person who's saying them has their fingers crossed behind their back, which supposedly gives them the right to lie. And I don't mean that literally. I mean it figuratively. But folks, we've heard the lies that sound good, but they're not meaningful, because the people that are saying them don't live them. They don't really believe them themselves. And Obama has had 4 years. We have 4 years of evidence of Obama not doing the right thing, of going against the people at every turn, of letting the criminals get away with their criminality, of not calling people on their BS, and it is BS. We need people that have the courage to stand up and tell the truth and to walk their talk. Not just to say what is true, but to say what is true and back it up with action that makes it viable in a world of deception, in a world of delusion. We've all fallen prey to this Hegelian dialectic, which, as David Icke says, is nothing more than just problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem and they talk eloquently with the right words to get the people to respond. Yes, we want you to do something. And then they do what they wanted to do all the time, which is always going to be against the people. Because, again, Hegel said, The state has the supreme right against the individual. That's dictatorship, folks. That's fascism. Forget the communism. That's fascism, which is the corporation and the government in bed with each other, doing what they want to do for their own benefit, and it doesn't matter how many people are hurt by it. It doesn't matter how many crimes against humanity are committed. The game plan is unlimited control and unlimited power. And this is where our government in the United States and our governments around the world have been trying to take us, because the same people behind the curtain, the same people in the ivory towers, have had this game plan of world domination for a very long time. And we've been marching in the direction of fulfillment of their vision, because we don't wake up, because we buy in to the propaganda by Mr. Obama and others like him, who say the right words but don't follow it up with appropriate action. Can't you see this? What's it going to take to wake people up and understand that when these people speak, they are not speaking truth? They are out of integrity. I'm going to deal on another video about the, oh God, let me just quick try to find that. Hold on just a second here. Go back to the inbox. Where's Steve's comment? Oh, there it is. Okay, they're going to be doing a video on the untouchable. Watch now, the untouchables. It's going to be on Frontline. It's going to be how the bankers, the international bankers and the Wall Street tycoons that created the problem with our financial structure are not, even though we recognize that they've committed fraud, nobody at a high level is being brought to justice. It's going to be interesting how they do that on mainstream TV. I'm going to do a video on just that subject, so I'm not going to talk about it much now. But folks, we are waking up, enough of us are waking up to understand that there's a problem between what is being said in the media, what is being said by our politicians, and what they're actually doing. They're admitting that there's fraud. They're admitting that this land grab and this stealing of people's homes through fraudulent mortgages and through fraudulent court proceedings and legal proceedings, they're admitting that it's fraud. And yet, nobody's being held accountable for it. There's no justice being administered. Forget the mercy right now. There's no justice. Yes, there needs to be mercy, but there needs to be justice. Justice with mercy, but definitely justice, and we're not getting that. And Obama talks about the republic and talks about taking his oath of office, but almost everything he's done in 4 years has been in violation of his oath of office, and it's treason. And our entire government, with very few exceptions of people in places of power, have committed treason against the people of the United States and against the world. They have committed crimes against humanity in keeping our military involved around the world, stealing resources from other nations, involving them in loans that enslave the people in the nations and create the corruption in the government of nations around the world. Folks, this is the world that we're living in. Wake up, please. Will you start to see it and stop falling for the rhetoric that has no meaning of action backing it up? I love listening to Obama. He's inspiring. I understand from reading that so was Hitler. And I know people don't like comparing Bush to Hitler or Obama to Hitler. But it's the same dialectic, folks. It's the same process that they've used to deceive the people for all the time that everybody that could possibly be listening to this is alive, unless you're one of the immortals. Anybody that's been on this planet for the last 100 years understands this and recognizes this is what's going on. It's time to wake up. And Mr. Obama, if you really are the good guy that some paint you as, if you really are this guy that came from another star system and you're a star seed and you came here to help fix things, start walking your talk. Rescind the executive orders that you've signed. Take back your signature on laws that you signed that were unconstitutional, passed by our Congress. And stop protecting and coddling the criminals. The people that have been behind the scenes pulling the strings are criminals, Mr. Obama. And they need to be held accountable to the people and to the law. The law is there, but it's not being utilized to protect the rights of human beings. And forget the idea that the state has the right to be superior to human beings. The state has no such right. The state must be brought into subservience to the people and to the rights of the people. Mr. Obama, when are you going to get it? Is anyone in Washington or London or Tel Aviv or the Vatican listening? We want people to tell the truth and not lie to us anymore. To back up what they say, the good things that they say, with positive action. Not mere rhetoric that has no action backing it up whatsoever. We need to make new choices as a human family and do what's right for once. I call on you and everyone listening to do what's right and to walk your talk. Thank you for listening. Namaste.